available right afterwards. And so really, I want to start off by really just sharing something with you and really ask you a question. You know, have you ever found yourself really comparing yourself to other people? I mean, you find yourself where you're comparing your business to somebody else's business, or you've compared your marriage to somebody else's marriage, or you're comparing your family to somebody else's family, or you're comparing your achievements, your goals to somebody else's. And I don't know if you've ever done it, but I know for sure I've definitely done it. But here's what I know, that sometimes when you find yourself in the process of comparing, you can find yourself becoming a little discouraged. You can find yourself beginning to feel a little bit insecure because you're looking at somebody else and you're feeling as if maybe you should have a better relationship. You're looking at somebody else and you're feeling as if you should produce more results in your business. You're looking at somebody else and you're thinking for a moment, you know what, really, maybe perhaps I should be producing some different results in my business, in my relationships, in my finances. And so here's what I want to tell you. I want to tell you, listen, you've got to stop doing that. You see, because oftentimes that is working against you. And so here's what I want you to stop doing. I want you to stop comparing your backstage to other people's front stage. I'm going to say that one more time. I want you to stop comparing your backstage to other people's front stage. And so you might be saying, well, what do you mean by that? Here's what I need you to understand. You see, you are fully aware of what your backstage looks like. You see, you know all the mess that's going on in your life. You know what's going on in your business. And even though you're trying to push along and let everybody lead to believe that, you know, you're making things happen, but behind the scenes, it's controlled chaos. Behind the scenes, you're trying to meet deadlines. Behind the scenes, you're hustling, trying to make things happen. Behind the scenes, you're staying up late. Behind the scenes, your office and everything's messy. You're just trying to keep it all together. Or maybe perhaps, you know, you're looking at some other people's relationships, or you're looking at their marriages, and you're looking at snapshots of their front stage. You're looking at the pictures they're putting out on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and you're looking at the pictures of the happy times. You're looking at the pictures of them hugging the dog with the family and their kids making the honor roll. And so see, what's happening is you're focusing on the front stage, and then you in turn are comparing it to your backstage. You're looking in your household and you're saying, man, there's some arguing going on in this household. You know, there's some frustration. I've got some kids right now that are frustrating me, or you know what, we're struggling to try to keep this household together. And so what happens is oftentimes you'll be looking at your backstage, the chaos, all the things that are going on in your finances, all the things that are going on in your business, all the things that are going on in your finances, all the things that are going on in your health, and you're comparing it to other people's front stage, what they're leading with. You know, almost like their highlight reel, because that's what social media really is for a lot of people. It's like their highlight reel. They put out all the best things that happen in their lives. And so what happens is, if you allow yourself to continue to compare yourself to other people's front stage, while you're analyzing your backstage, it'll begin to create some insecurity in you. You'll literally start looking at other people and start wondering, well, what's wrong with me? Why is it that I can't take my business to the next level? Why aren't I producing those type of results? Let me just tell you, you need to stop. Stop comparing your backstage to other people's front stage. Listen, I won't forget this. So it was about a month ago, one of my nonprofit clients hired me to go ahead and train the president of their organization and a couple of their high-level executives for their organization to prepare for a presentation that they were going to have to do. And so I went in and met with the president of the organization as well as some other high-level executives and coached them and really how to share their story and how to position their presentation for this particular event that they were ramping on for. And they also asked that I speak at the event. And so we had prepared for about a couple weeks. And so finally it's time for the event, and I get to the venue, and it's in this amazing auditorium. I mean, this auditorium is amazing. You walk in there, I mean, the ceilings are so high. I mean, they probably had like 50-foot ceilings. It was like double level, these nice plush seats, you know, these wonderful carpet and like traction light going up the carpet, you know, this big massive stage with these amazing curtains, and everything is just so positioned so nice. People are greeting you when you first come in. I mean, everything is just pristine. Everything is amazing. And when you get in this auditorium, you can't help but look around and say, wow, this place is absolutely amazing. And so I remember this, they came and they said, Mr. Henriquez, you know, we want to go ahead and escort you backstage because, you know, it's almost going to be time for you to speak, sir. And so there's a gentleman that came to me and said, well, Mr. Enriquez, let me help you and bring you backstage. And so they brought me around the backside and they opened up the door. When they opened up the door, right as they opened up the door, I mean, it is dark. I go up these set of stairs and now I'm backstage. And now I'm looking around backstage. I mean, backstage looks nothing like front stage. I'm looking around backstage. There's props all over the place. There's chairs that are folded on the ground. There's wires everywhere on the ground. Everywhere you step, you have to be careful. I mean, the stage director's back there. He's trying to send in the cues, and he's making some last-minute adjustments. You know, you can see where the band has left some of their equipment in the back. I mean, it looks crazy. And while I'm back there, there's another one of the speakers is with me backstage. And all of a sudden, I hear this lady scream, "Ah!" And I'm like, well, what is it? Are you okay? I said, why are you screaming? And literally, this was funny. Literally, a rat ran by her foot. There's a rat backstage, and it ran right by her foot. It was the funniest thing. And, you know, for the rest of the time there, we're all sort of looking around and hoping we're not going to step on this rat or it's going to run out on us. But I share that to tell you this, that there was such a major disparity, major contrast between what the front stage looked like, this beautiful, amazing auditorium that was just pristine with these amazing chairs and these high ceilings and these amazing drapes and the way people were being greeted and everything they were coming in, and what backstage looked like. Backstage was like literally organized chaos backstage. I mean, backstage, you know, it's dark, it's difficult to see around, props all over the place. And so, but listen, that's by design. You see, because they know that the audience is going to look at the front of the stage. The audience is not going to see the back of the stage. Most of the time, it's only the performers and people who are involved in the production that are going to be backstage. And so here's what I want you to realize, that many of the people that you're comparing yourself to, what you're comparing yourself to is what they're putting forward on their front stage. But here's what I need you to realize, that you're often comparing it to your backstage. And so that's not fair. You're doing yourself a disservice. That's right. Because you're looking at the highlight reel. You're looking at what they want to present. You're looking at the best that they have to offer. When you're looking at people on social media, or you're examining their website, which they took time to put and lead with the best pictures, the best content, and the best information that they could provide. You're looking at their Instagram page. You're looking at all their social media pages, and you're like, wow, look at their life. It's so amazing. Their business, they're doing well, and you know, their family's amazing, and they're so happy. But realize this, you're looking at their front stage, and then you're comparing it to your backstage. You're thinking about the struggles. You're thinking about the disappointments. You're thinking about stuff. And if you continue to do that, you'll psych yourself out. If you continue to do that, you'll convince yourself that you're not enough. If you continue to do that, you'll find yourself becoming discouraged, and you'll start second guessing on whether or not you're capable of pulling off all these things that you really want to do. And so the first thing that I want you to know tonight is that whatever you do, stop comparing your backstage to other people's front stage. Understand that their front stage is the best that they have to offer, and you're often comparing it with all the chaos that is going on in the backdrop of your life. And so if you can stop doing that, you'll find that you'll be less discouraged. If you can stop doing that, you'll find that you'll be able to produce some better results. If you could stop doing that, you'll stop doing what I call the shiny object syndrome, where you're always trying to copy or model what somebody else is doing, as opposed to really positioning yourself to do the absolutely best of what you're capable of doing. And so that's the first thing I want to share with you. Now, if you're a note taker, here's the second thing that I really need you to understand. The second thing that I really need you to focus on is this. Listen, I need you to get this. I really, truly need you to get this, because too many people really believe this. And I believe that it was Amar Dave who said this, that too often people believe that the grass is greener on the other side, when really, truly, they should water the grass that they're standing on. I'm going to say that again. Too often people believe that the grass is greener on the other side, when they should be watering the grass that they're standing on. And so trust and believe that, you know what, sometimes you're looking off at somebody else's business, you're looking off at what somebody else is doing, and you've convinced yourself, you know, the grass is greener on the other side. Look at them. They're doing it, man. Look at their relationship. Look at their business. Look at how they're losing the weight. Look how everything great is happening in their life. And then you start comparing, you're saying, well, look at poor me. Look how I'm struggling. Look how I'm not producing the results that I want. Obviously, they must be doing something different. Obviously, things have to be better off for them. But here's what I need you to realize, and I love this quote, that too many people actually believe that the grass is greener on the other side when they really should be watering the grass that they're standing on. As a matter of fact, somebody else has a quote, and I love this quote. It says that the grass is greener wherever you water it. Write that down. The grass is greener wherever you water it. And so the grass will be greener where you choose to water. So stop focusing on what other people are doing in their business. Stop focusing on what other people are doing in their relationship. Stop focusing on what other people are doing with their finances. Stop focusing on what other people are doing and start focusing on watering your own grass. Start cultivating your own business, putting in the time, the effort, the energy with laser focus. Stop focusing on what other people are doing in their marriage and water your own marriage. Put in the time and the effort to spend the quality time with your spouse and put in the quality time to spend with your children. Stop worrying about what everybody else is doing who's pursuing their goals and their dreams, and get laser focused on pursuing your own dreams. Listen, the grass is greener wherever you choose to water it. That's where the grass is greener. And so this is a lesson I got to share a lot. You know, I happen to coach many people who are in the direct sales industry. So people who are growing their business in the direct sales, which is, you might want to call it MLM marketing or really direct relational type marketing business, where, many of these people are looking to grow their business. And one of the things I have to share with many of my coaching clients that are in the direct sales business is that they really got to stop chasing the next shiny thing, right? And so some people get involved in the direct sale industry and they literally go from one company to another. I mean, they jump from one opportunity to another opportunity. And every time they do that, they're just believing, they see another opportunity and it's another shiny object. And they're just believing, oh, if I go over there, things are going to be better. If I go over there, I'm going to make some more money. Only to get over there and realize that once again, there's a pair of overalls waiting on them with the word work written across it. And they're still going to have to work. There's still going to be some disappointments. People are still going to let them down. That they're still going to have people who say, yeah, they're excited about the business. They're going to go missing. They're still going to have to make phone calls. There's going to be times that they're going to get frustrated because things aren't going exactly how they anticipated. And so one of the things that I tell them all the time is, listen, stop chasing the shiny object. You got to keep the main thing the main thing. Focus on what you're building right now. Plant your stake in the ground and say that this is it. This is what I'm going to be working on for the next couple of years. This is what I am going to build, because they need to understand that too many people believe that the grass is greener on the other side, when the reality of it is the grass is always greener wherever you choose to water it. That's where the grass is greener. And so ultimately, we've got to make the decision that we're going to stop looking to the right and stop looking to the left and stop doing all this comparison, and that we're just going to invest the time and the energy to start watering the grass that we're standing on. And so I have seen people who've gone through the frustration, right, of where they got involved in a business opportunity, started telling their friends and their family about it, and 6 months later, one of their friends or family members say, hey, how's that business working for you? And they say, oh, well, actually, I want to talk to you about another business. Well, you just tell me, would you be able to take somebody seriously like that, that every single time you talk to them, they're talking to you about another business opportunity, they're talking about the next shiny object? And so even if you're not in direct sales, here's what I need you to understand, that you've got to stop going through all this comparison and stop chasing the shiny object, and literally make the decision, make the personal decision that you are going to water the grass that you're standing on. Because ultimately, if you water the grass that you're standing on, that's where it's going to be greener. So you've got to water that marriage by putting in the time, the effort, and spending the quality time and investing in your children. You've got to water your business by stretching yourself and growing and learning and going to the personal development workshops and getting the coaching and the mentoring and putting in the time and understanding that you've got to trust the process, that you've got to literally water this dream that you have. I know many of you have a dream, a goal, or something that you're working on, and realize that stop comparing your vision and your goal to somebody else. That's their dream. That's their goal. What you've got to do is just focus on whatever it is that you're working on at the moment. Focus on what's been placed in you, because here's what I know, to trust and believe that whatever's been placed in you, if God has put a vision or a goal in you, he's also giving you the provision. He's also giving you the capacity to be able to make this thing happen. And so stop comparing yourself to other people. And ultimately, you just need to water the grass that you're standing on. Now, here's something else that I really need you to understand. I need you to stay in your lane. Write that down. Stay in your lane. Get laser focused and stay in your lane. Run your race. Stop looking to your left. Stop looking to your right. And definitely, whatever you do, don't look behind you, because that's going to slow you down. Because the only person that you need to attempt to be better than is you. You need to attempt to be better than who you were yesterday. And so the only person that you're in competition with is yourself. You're looking to become the very best version of yourself. Stop focusing on everybody else. Listen, everybody else is already taken. There's only one you on the face of this planet. There's only one person that has the same fingerprints as you. There's only one person that has the capacity and the dream to do the thing that's been placed in you. And so what you've got to be willing to do is to stay in your lane, and don't try to be a duplicate of anybody else. No, rather be the best of who you are. Focus on your race. And so you've got to decide, what's your race? What is it that you've been called to do? What is it that has your name written all over it? I mean, do you have a desire to become an entrepreneur? Are you already an entrepreneur and you know that you have the capacity to take it to the next level? I mean, are you a teacher? Are you a doctor? Are you a lawyer? Are you in a profession? Then whatever it is that you know that you've been called to do, then stay in your lane and become the absolute best at doing it. The other day, I was sharing with people that, you know, there's a book that's written by Malcolm Gladwell, and he was talking about what it requires to master your craft, to have a level of excellency. And in his book, Outliers, he talks about that it takes 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours of staying in your lane, 10,000 hours of true effort, 10,000 hours of practice and commitment to doing the thing that you're doing. And if you're trying to get an idea of what is 10,000 hours, listen, if you are working 40 hours a week on your craft, on your skill for 5 years, you would finally hit the 10,000 hour mark. So most of us, listen, we got a lot of work to do before we clock in those 10,000 hours. And so you've got to stay in your lane and stop allowing yourself to be distracted. You know, here's the thing. My wife and I, it was funny, we went by, there's a place called Gulfstream, and so they've got the horse races there, and we thought it was pretty cool. The Kentucky Derby. We didn't go to the Kentucky Derby, but they were actually showing the Kentucky Derby at this racetrack, and there was going to be tons of people. So my wife was like, "Listen, we should go to this place, Gulfstream. Let's go and watch the Kentucky Derby." She was like, "Listen, you know, we don't even know how to gamble," and we're like, "Listen, we're going to go ahead and place a bid for fun." And so we got there. We had no idea what we were doing. We didn't even know how we were going to bid on the horses. We had no idea what a trifecta was. They've got all these terminologies. We didn't even know how to pick the horses. We didn't understand the odds. It was crazy, but it was such a great time. But really, there was a couple of races before the Kentucky Derby aired, and one of the things that they do, you know, because of the audiences there and for showmanship, before the races take place, they bring the horses around. So the jockeys and the horses come around, and they sort of circle around, and they show the horses off. And I mean, you see these big, massive stallions. I mean, these amazing horses with these beautiful, shiny coats, and you just muscular. You can see the muscle contrast. You see these little bitty old jockeys that are going to be riding these massive horses. And as the horses are coming around, I mean, most of us, we've never been that close up on a racehorse. So I'm looking at these animals. I mean, they are gorgeous. They're amazing. And as the horses are coming around, you know, you see that they've got a saddle on them, and they've got, you know, this thing around the horse's mouth so the jockeys can pull on it. But then they have these things that are blinders. And so some of you might be saying, well, what are blinders? Well, the horse's eyes are sort of placed on the side of its head, right? And so the horse is naturally, the horse has predators out in the wilderness and out in its natural habitat. So God made horses with the horses really with their eyes sort of on their side of their head so that they can see if there's a danger coming, so that they'd be able to flee and run off. But what happens is these race horses, one of the things that they do is they put blinders. They literally put blinders right there on the side of the eyes of these racehorses. Now, you might be saying, well, why do they put these blinders on these horses? Well, the reason why they put the blinders on, and when I say blinders, they're not completely blind. The blinders are just on the side. And so the blinders, what it really does is it causes the horse to only be able to focus forward. And so they cannot see the distractions that are on their right. They cannot see the distractions that are to their left. They cannot see all the distractions on the side, because these are big, massive animals. And if for some reason they became distracted, if for some reason they went off course, then it would be a terrible issue, especially in the middle of a race, right? Could you imagine a horse just running off in a different direction? So they put these blinders on. And the purpose of putting the blinders on is to avoid all the distractions and to make sure that the horse is not focused on other horses that it's not focused on anything that it's running by, but to make sure that its only focus is on moving forward. And so here's what I'm saying to you, that in many ways, you've got to put your blinders on. I mean, you've got to learn how to stay in your lane. Put your blinders on and stop focusing to your right, stop focusing to your left and comparing yourself to what everybody else is doing. Stop looking at what the other person's website is, unless you're just doing it for a matter of inspiration. Stop comparing yourself because somebody put a couple of pictures up on LinkedIn and put a couple of pictures up on Facebook and put a couple of pictures up on Instagram. And now in your world, you're thinking like, oh my goodness, they're a complete success and I'm a complete failure. No, put your blinders on. Stay in your lane. Become the best version of who you are. Make some things happen. Take yourself personally to the next level. Keep the main thing the main thing. Don't allow yourself to become distracted, because unfortunately, that keeps many of us from realizing our goals and dreams. That keeps many of us from moving forward. And so one of the things that I know that keeps many people from realizing the greatness in their life, one of the things that I know that keeps a lot of people from showing up in their lives is before they even get started, they talk themselves out of it. Now you say, Andy, why do they talk themselves out? I'll tell you why they talk themselves out of it. They talk themselves out of it because they're busy comparing themselves to other people. They're too busy comparing themselves. They're looking at somebody else's highlight reel. They're comparing the backstage of their life to somebody else's front stage. And so I want to recap for you, because I need you to get this. If you can get this, it's going to keep you from being discouraged. If you can get this, it's going to allow you to become more focused. If you can get this, you're going to start producing more results in your life. If you can get this, you're going to take your life to the next level. And so the first thing is, once again, here's what I need you to remember, and make sure that you do not forget this, because this is absolutely essential to make sure that you get to the next level. This is going to be essential to make sure that you make some things happen, that you need to stop, literally stop right now, this moment. Stop comparing your backstage to other people's front stage. And I think now you have a pretty good understanding. People's front stage is the best that they have to offer. It's the best that they have to show in their family. It's the best that they have to show in their business. It's when they know the company's coming over and they get the kids all nice and dolled up. They clean up the kitchen. They clean up the bathrooms. They make everything look good. That's the front stage. It's when they're making their posts on social media and they're showing the rewards. They're showing the great times with the family. They're showing themselves hugging the dog. They're showing them their kids getting the honor roll. They're showing how their business, they just landed a massive client. That's all the front stage. You know, they're showing you the times that they lost the weight and all this stuff. Listen, that's good and dandy, but that's their front stage. Listen, here's what they're not showing. They're not showing the backstage. They're not showing the chaos. They're not showing when they had to hustle to try to keep the deal together. They're not showing when they're trying to figure out how they're going to pay their bills. They're not showing when their kid has failed out or now they're frustrated because the kid's not doing what they need to do. They're not showing when they're in the bed and they're frustrated. They're not showing when them and their husband or wife had just gotten in a fight. They're not showing you that. And so don't do yourself a disservice of continually comparing your backstage with somebody else's front stage. So that's the first thing I need you to understand. The second thing is, of course, that listen, too many people believe that the grass is greener on the other side. I love this quote. Too many people believe that the grass is greener on the other side when they really ought to just be watering the grass that they're standing on. And there's another quote that says this, listen, the grass is greener where you water it. So listen, stop chasing the shiny object. Stop having the shiny object where you won't commit to one thing. You're going from one thing to the other thing because you're believing that the next thing is going to be better than what you have. Listen, you need to learn how to make the best with what you have. Theodore Roosevelt said you got to do the best you can with what you have, with where you are right now. And here's what I know. There's some good stuff in you. Here's what I know. You can take your business to the next level. Here's what I know. That whatever you've done thus far, it's only the tip of the iceberg of what's possible for you. But here's what I need you to understand, that you've got to water the grass that you're standing on. You've got to make this thing happen. You can't allow yourself to get frustrated and continue to compare yourself with other people. And so finally, here's the last thing that I want to share with you. And the last thing that you really need to understand, that you've got to put those blinders on. Just like they put on those race horses. They put those blinders on, and it's there to keep the horse from being distracted. It's there to keep the horse from being in that situation where it's comparing itself or looking at distractions and allowing itself to stop racing the race. Listen, you've got to stay focused on your race. Your only job, your only responsibility in life is to run your race at the best of your ability. Your only job and your responsibility is to be better than who you were yesterday. It's to continue to grow. It's to continue to expand. It's to continue to make some things happen. And so if you can do those things, you're going to save yourself a lot of frustration. Listen, stop comparing yourself to other people. I know in my heart, I know that you can make some things happen. I know that you'll show up in a completely different way if you can just simply stop comparing yourself. So once again, let me remind you, you've got to stop comparing your backstage with other people's front stage. And of course, this wouldn't be Andy Henriquez if I didn't end by telling you this. You got to show up for your lives, ladies and gentlemen, because if you don't, ladies and gentlemen, nobody else will. I want to thank you so much for joining us on this live stream. And of course, I'm going to pass it over to Lewis. Lewis, you there? Absolutely, absolutely. So, of course, we're going to be opening up the lines in just a moment. So for those of you who are watching us via live stream, just to let you know how this works, we have people who are on the conference call line right now who are going to be really sharing their comments and their feedback from tonight's message. But before I get into that, there's a couple of extra things that I want to share with all of you. And so, of course, one of the things that I absolutely want to share is that I'm extremely excited because why? Why are you so excited, Andy? Why? Because we have the Show Up for Your Life 2015 event is coming up. And I want to extend a very special invitation for you to join us on July 10th and 11th in beautiful sunny California for the transformational Show Up for Your Life 2015 event. This is going to be a transformational, life-changing, personal development event. You are going to be in the presence of some extraordinary speakers, and we are going to equip you with the strategies and techniques that you need to take your life to the next level and to also take your business to the next level. And so maybe you know in your heart that, you know what, this year has been all right for you, but you know that you can take your life to the absolute next level. And if that's you, I want to invite you to the Show Up 2015 event. And here's how you can learn a little more about that event. And you're saying, well, Andy, what are you guys going to be sharing at the event? First of all, I'm going to be talking to you about how to show up for your life. I'm going to talk to you really about how to cash in on your story, because I believe we all have a powerful story, but we need to learn how to leverage that story. We have Lewis Moyer is going to be talking to people about how to position yourself for a comeback. Maybe you know in the past couple of years, you've had a couple of setbacks, some things that have come your way, and you're still trying to recover from those things. Well, we want to help you to position yourself to make a comeback. Star Barbatune, who's one of this powerful sales strategists, is going to be talking about how everybody is in sales. Whether you know it or not, everybody is in sales. So she's going to show you some techniques to be able to sell yourself if you're working a corporate job, or to be able to increase the sales of your products and your services if you have a business. We have Dr. Cassandra Henriquez, who's going to be talking about really about, time management, how to declutter your life, how to cast a vision and take your life really to the next level. I mean, this is going to be a powerful event. You do not want to miss this. And whatever you've got to do to come and join us, I want you to do that. So if you want to learn more about the event, and of course, if you want to register, and I'm telling you, do whatever you have to do to get to this event, you want to go to showup2015.com. Once again, you're going to go to showup2015.com, and that is the website where you're going to be able to learn more about the Show Up for Your Life motivational event. And on top of that, you're going to be able to register. Now, for those of you who are also joining us right now via live stream, one of the things that we do, and for the people who are listening in on the conference call line, you can go ahead and post your comments and your feedback and even your questions in our very private group, our special group for the Show Up for Your Life motivational movement. And so if you want to join us in that group, all I want you to do is go to showupgroup.com. Once again, you're going to go to showupgroup.com. And when you go to that URL, it's going to take you directly to our private Facebook group. And don't worry, we've got somebody there to go ahead and accept your invitation to go ahead and join the group. We're going to go ahead and accept and let you in the group. And you can post your comments and your feedback right there. It's going to allow us to connect. And so, customary to what we